Hi guys, welcome back to Intellectual Literature. This is Gauri. Today we are going to talk about Jane Eyre. It was written by Charlotte Brontë. Before that, kindly subscribe my channel. So, let's go. First we study author's description. Charlotte Brontë was lived from 1816 to 1855. She was born on 21st April in Yorkshire, England. She is well known for her novel Jane Eyre. It was published on the year 1847. She grew up under the supervision of a strict father and a religious aunt. Though she took up jobs as a teacher and governess, she returned to her family to live with her sisters Annie and Emily. She embarked on a writing career with the publication of poems by Currer, Ellis and Acton Bill. It was published on 1846. Though The Professor A Tale was the first novel she wrote, the publisher's choice was Jane Eyre, which became a bestseller even as it was published. The character Jane, whose name forms the title of the novel, begins life as an orphan, undergoes many difficulties, and finally marries the man she loves. That was Rochester, a man of wealth. This novel is semi-autobiographical and it is also read as a Bildungsroman. The novel Shirley, it was published on 1849 and Williet 1853. It's make up the trio of novels and The Professor 1857. It was published posthumously after Charlotte Bronte's death. Her novels are gothic and romantic. Charlotte Brontë died in 1855 due to illness during her pregnancy. Okay, now let's study deeply Jane Eyre's novel. First scene, Gateshead Hall. Jane Eyre is an orphan living with her cruel aunt, Mrs. Reed, and her cousins John, Eliza, and Georgiana. Jane is abused, especially by John Reed. After fighting back, Jane is punished and locked in the terrifying Red Room, where her uncle died. This scene establishes Jane's loneliness, injustice, and desire for love and freedom. Conflict with Mrs. Reed. Jane falls illness after the Red Room incident. Mr. Lloyd, an apothecary, suggest sending her to boarding school. Jane comforts Mrs. Reed boldly, accusing her of cruelty and injustice. This moment marks Jane's moral courage and self-respect. Jane is sent to Lowood School, a charity institution run by the hypocritical Mr. Brocklehurst. The school is cold, underfed, and strict. Jane befriends Helen Burns, who teaches her patience, forgiveness, and Christian endurance. Mr. Brocklehurst humiliates Jane by calling her a liar before the entire school. Jane is devastated but later comforted when Miss Temple clears her name. This restores Jane's dignity and strengthens her trust in justice. A typhus epidemic spreads through Lowood. Helen falls ill with tuberculosis and dies peacefully in Jane's arms. Helen's death deeply affects Jane and represents spiritual strength and forgiveness. After the epidemic, Lowood improves. Jane studies for years and later becomes a teacher. However, she feels restless and longs for a wider life beyond Lowood. Jane advertises for a job and becomes governess to Adil Warrens at Thornfield Hall. she meets the mysterious master Mr. Edward Rochester. Jane is intrigued by his strong personality and honesty. Jane and Rochester develops a deep intellectual and emotional bond through conversations. Jane values equality and independence, while Rochester respects her intelligence. Strange laughter and mysterious events occur at Thornfield. Jane saves Rochester from a fire in his bedroom caused by a hidden figure later revealed as Bertha Mason, Rochester's insane wife. Rochester pretends to court Blanche Ingram, making Jane jealous. Jane struggles with her emotions but remains dignified. She insists on self-respect over passion. Rochester confesses love and proposes to Jane. Jane accepts, believing in equality and true love despite class differences. During the wedding, it is revealed that Rochester is already married to Bertha Mason, who is mentally ill and confined in the attic. Jane is shocked and heartbroken. Rochester begs Jane to stay with him as his mistress. Jane refuses, choosing moral integrity and self-respect over passion. She leaves Thornfield alone and penniless. Jane suffers hunger and exhaustion. She is rescued by St. John Rivers and his sisters Diana and Mary at Moor House. Jane finds peace and companionship. Jane discovers that her uncle has left her a fortune. She also learns that the Rivers sisters are her cousins. Jane shares her inheritance, showing generosity and emotional maturity. St. John asks Jane to marry him and join him as a missionary wife in India. Though respectful, his proposal lacks love. Jane refuses, asserting her need for emotional fulfillment. Jane mysteriously hears Rochester calling her name. Interpreting it as a spiritual sign, she decides to return to him. Jane learns that Thornfield was destroyed by fire set by Bertha Mason, who died in the blaze. Rochester was injured while trying to save others and is now blind and disabled. Jane reunites with Rochester at Ferndale. Their love is renewed on equal terms, with Jane now financially independent. Jane marries Rochester. He gradually regains partial eyesight. The novel ends with fulfillment of love, moral integrity, and equality. Now, next we are going to study themes: love versus morality, women's independence, social class and equality, religion and hypocrisy, passion versus self-control. Now, finally, we see the characters. Jane Eyre, an orphaned, independent and morally strong woman who seeks love with equality and self-respect. Edward Rochester, the brooding master of Thornfield Hall, whose dark past shapes his complex personality. Bertha Mason, Rochester's mentally ill wife, symbolizing repression and colonial otherness. Mrs. Reed, Jane's cruel aunt who mistreats her during childhood. St. John Rivers, a cold religious idealist who proposes a loveless marriage to Jane. Helen Burns, Jane's kind, patient school friend who teaches Christian forgiveness. Mr. Brocklehurst, the hypocritical head of Lowood School, representing false morality. Miss Temple, a gentle and just teacher who influences Jane's moral growth. Adley Warrens, Rochester's living ward, adding warmth and innocence to Thornfield. Mrs. Fairfax, the kind housekeeper of Thornfield Hall. I hope you are all find this video helpful. This movie is also available, Jane Eyre's movie. It's available on YouTube. If you have time, you go and watch that movie. Okay. If you like this video, kindly click like button. Share your thoughts on comment section. Share this video to your friends who really want this. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. This is Gauri from Intellectual Literature. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.